So I just recorded 30 minutes of a video that got corrupted somehow on my phone. So yeah, I just still got some coffee left though. So we can get back into it. It's kind of funny because this video is something that I wanted to express about self-sabotage. And I mean, in a state where, you face a disappointment like that, like you just worked on something, like then your computer shuts down or whatever, and it's like, fuck, like maybe it didn't save. I know that's less of a problem these days because computers are better at auto-saving, but man, does anyone remember writing an essay and then having a crappy computer that just like shut down randomly and deleted everything? So in this moment now, it's like, okay, I can either get upset about it or I can just push through and do it again. So here we are. There was some cute nuggets in there that we're gonna miss, but it's okay. It's all right. So we are talking about the idea of self-sabotage. Now, this is interesting because it's something that I've dealt with my whole life. I think that anyone who, is creatively forward and has like that sort of visionary mind, it's easy to lose yourself before you can get to the details. And before you even get to that part, I think it's worthwhile exploring whether an idea is worth fleshing out because, I mean, the ideas are going to keep on coming. That's a blessing and a curse. Like you will always have new ideas. I'm speaking from experience, I'm speaking from my own place as someone like this. There's always going to be new ideas. There's always going to be another revolutionary thing that you can see coming into reality. That's a superpower, and it's a scary one because getting from A, which is that sort of mind where you can envision a certain reality, a potential reality of some kind, to Z, where it is that thing. There are a lot of steps in between. When self-sabotage comes to, knock on your door, it comes in the form of distraction, it comes in the form of doubt and fear and, a lot of other things. There's a lot of mechanisms at play that will tell you, nah, you can't do this, you can't have that, you cannot be like that because who are you? Who are you? And that's the shitty part. That I think a lot of people deal with, myself included, is like there is that narrative in your mind telling you like, who are you to put that out? Who's gonna listen to you? Like, what is your credibility? And regardless of where that inner narrative comes from, it is a very powerful one, and it's one that can just like suplex you into submission, basically, like easily, like you're featherweight, it's heavyweight. Feather. So I don't even watch like wrestling. I don't know why all this is coming into my mind. But anyway, it's like that. It wrestles you into submission and it does it easily because what is that submission? That submission is submitting into your current state of reality. This morning when I woke up, I really wanted to dive into my own self-sabotage habits because, man, are they there. They are there. I have really grappled with it my whole life, and I continue to, and I know that it will probably never go away. So, what up? I'm going to make friends with it. We're going to be homies, whether we like each other or not. So what I see it as is, again, there's like that safety mechanism of like, okay, this is my reality now. I'm sure of that. I can touch it, I can taste it, I can feel it, whatever. My five senses, they're there, they're for it, they see it, and that is safe. You know, there's nothing to prove when you are in your current reality. When you start to step along the path of starting to fulfill something that's not yet real or a thing, that's when it gets scary, especially when it's self directed. And that is a big one because, you know, you're basically in your own delusion and you have to have enough confidence in that delusion to bring it to life and turn it into, you know, something that you can experience with your five senses and that can do whatever it was meant to do, whatever you envisioned it to do. I get distracted, and I've noticed, like, you know, I've been pretty motivated during this whole shutdown situation, but this week I think I really felt a dip. We got a full moon tonight, so the emotions run high. And just, you know, I gotta say, like, whatever you believe in, I think it's important to create significance around cycles, and just rituals in your life. You know, you want touchstones, you want things that you create significance around, and one of those things for me is the cycles of the moon, you know. I like that. I think it's nice to set intentions and watch them unfold, and you know, you got your new moon where you set those intentions, you watch them come to fruition, the light shines upon it and shows you what has happened in 14 days. And then another 14 days, you can use that period to just let go of the things that are not serving you and reflect and invite in again a new cycle of rebirth. So, yeah, it's a full moon, and I am feeling a culmination of a lot of energies right now, and it's it can be overwhelming, you know. Again, being self-directed, you're at your own whim. You know, you get to decide what you do and what you don't do. Your losses and your failures are yours. My losses and failures are mine. My wins are mine too, you know. I've had a lot of beautiful things happen because of this circumstance, but yeah, when you don't have someone else setting your deadlines for you, when you don't have someone else patting you on the back or even giving you criticism to kind of put up some borders where, like, if you hit the side, you can course correct. In the case of being self-directed, that's all you. And I think anyone can relate to the fact that, like, you know, you give someone else advice and you're like, damn, like, I am good. Like, I'm good at giving advice. I should be a therapist. I should be, you know, whatever, lawyer, whatever, doctor, whatever. You know that you are capable of that. And part of the reason that it's so powerful when you're helping someone else is because you don't have that convoluted sort of energy to deal with where your inner compass is now in the same place as where you're supposed to be putting up borders and looking around at what's doing well, what's not doing well, what do we like, dislike, etc. When it's someone else, you can see everything clearly, and all of that beautiful knowledge that you have attained in your lifetime, all of that wisdom, you can employ it in really, really effective ways. And you know, I chose a career around that, really. And yeah, it's hard. It's hard doing it for yourself. So that's where self-sabotage comes in. And that's where, you know, community is important. And for anyone who's self-employed or, you know, just really is having to be very self-directed, it is important to have tools in your life. And, like, you know, your life is your own. So whether we're talking about profession or personal life, at some point you will have to employ this kind of stuff, which is like journaling. And like, you can call it journaling, you can call it whatever you want. You can call it like strategizing if that's easier for you, because it's a less vulnerable word. You got to do it. You got to strategize for yourself. You got to have some community. And yeah. I don't know why I'm taking such a like directive approach. This is supposed to be a little bit of a vulnerable moment for me, and here I am embodying my professional energy. Um, coffee, coffee break. Yeah. Personally, one of the things that I used to draw a lot of strength from was finding my identity and my sense of self through solitude. And we all do it in our own way, in our own form. And for me, it was that, like, I really liked being alone, because then I knew that I was straight. I was thinking straight, and like I could, whatever I was feeling, I could deal with that in a constructive way. And that would end up being through drawing and poetry, writing, meditation, even like just from a really young age. Like, that was my life. And yeah, I drew a lot of strength from that. So here I am now in a place where I have drawn a lot of strength from that. And I don't really, as much as it is something that I draw strength from and I will continue to, it's time to look into the strength of community. Because the powerful thing as an adult is that I get to choose who I associate myself with and who I trust. And I have coping mechanisms that they're fully fledged. They're there and they're available, and I can choose to employ them. Which means that I need to take that sense of fear that I have around community, and I need to put it to rest. Doesn't mean that I can't still draw strength from my solitude, because I think I will always do that, but there is a lot of untapped strength for me in creating community around my professional life and even just my creative goals. Because for me, music is something I do semi-professionally. It's still something that I feel is very personal as well, but like, I need to allow myself to jam. I want to be able to just let loose with it, instead of having to like hold it in and hold it to myself and only let it out when I'm alone or on stage, because again, that's a place where you are kind of in control and in direction of how you express that music. There's alchemy to be found in letting your energy commingle with other people's energy, and I'm trying to embrace that and create communities around the things that I value in my life. I don't want to come to another week or a month from now and feel like, man, I didn't accomplish, like, I didn't write that song that I wanted to write. I didn't finish that song that I wanted to finish, because maybe a little bit of perspective would have been powerful. So yeah, I have some professional and personal goals, and I really want to take the time to reckon with the doubt that I have in my mind that tells me, nah, you can't do that. Because when you have good community around you, those people are gonna see your strengths, and they're gonna call you out and make sure that you are employing those strengths. And if you're fucking around and distracting yourself because you're fearful, those people are going to call you out for that too. And so that's something that I'm inviting into my space more now, is that vulnerability of like, yo, like, I got this goal. I have this song that I want to write. Here, listen to it. Tell me what you think, because sound design is important too. Stereo imaging is important too. Like it's an experience, it's not just a song. It's you want it to be an encapsulating experience for the listener, which to me is important. And yeah, feedback is important. Um, that's my personal shit. That's me right now. That's what I'm dealing with, is making sure that I continue to see my values and I continue to kind of create from that fountain of value that I have. Um, I'm reckoning with the no, you can't, no, you shouldn't, you're not good enough, all that kind of stuff, because when it comes from here, like that's vulnerable. You know, if you get criticism from whomever and like they're just like ruthless to something that you create, I mean, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt, you know? Um, but, you know, what's worse? What is worse? Not sharing any of it, not creating any of it, or creating it and then holding it to myself so that, you know, I'm satisfied, but like, even though I kind of meant to share this with the world now, I'm just gonna sit on it. You know, there's varying degrees of how you can sabotage yourself in your creations. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard stuff. And does anyone else, you know, have any goals that they're trying to accomplish right now? Is there anything that you have on your mind? And do you have that little narrative in the back of your mind that, out of, you know, the lust for comfort and out of that uh, fear, just wants to tell you, no, you cannot, no, you should not. What are people gonna think? Like, who cares, you know? At the end of the day, like, I have that narrative too, and it's like, who really cares? Who really cares? Like, people are gonna think what they think, and it, at the end of the day, mostly has nothing to do with you. It's how it awakens something within themselves. So, like, I don't know. It's a valid fear, like it's there for a reason, you know. There's an evolutionary bit to that where you want to make sure that like you're safe and that you're part of a community that accepts you. But at the end of the day, like you are not going to die if not everybody likes the thing or agrees with the thing that you came up with and that you created. And you know, I don't need to have my work validated by a manager or a boss. You know, it's not that that's a bad thing, because honestly, it's very powerful to have a system of management. And for a lot of people, like that will empower you to be the most productive version of yourself that you can be, and the most, you know, just potent person that you can be. Guidance can do that for you. But for me, like, and for anyone, like you are always going to have things in your life that are going to require you to give yourself permission, and that should be enough. And yeah, you can't just do it once. I can't just do it once. You know, I do it and then I have to revisit it and do it again, because unfortunately those narratives that crave the the comfort and the sameness and that have the fear, those things are really strong, because again, suplexing you into submission just means that like all you have to do is accept your current reality for what it is and just kind of let go of everything else. Yeah, that's zen, but at the end of the day, like if you want to create something and that is what makes you thrive, or even if you just want to improve upon your own compass, like it requires you to become uncomfortable and to look at details and to do work. It's not just going to appear. And yeah, you may have that magical mind that can see those realities before they have even been tapped in the lightest amount. But that doesn't mean that it is real until you take the steps. So, yeah, this is me. This is kind of what I'm going through right now. The demoralization of being in a pandemic and having my career sidelined was, it doesn't get me too much, but obviously it still affects me. It affects me because, like, there's people out here suffering and sick, and like that is scary. And even just like on a personal level, like I'm not getting the experience of being able to exert my professional skills in the way that I usually would on a constant basis. And it's tough. It is tough because now again there's less of that approval to draw from. But again, you don't have to be completely confident or completely approved of externally in order to get shit done. So yeah, that is what I've been thinking about today. That was my meditation for today. And yeah, I guess there's some stuff that I have to do, and I'm excited. I am excited to get it done. I recently downloaded a new DAW. I'm probably still going to use Logic a lot, but now I also have Ableton. And yeah, it just looks like the workflow is pretty good. So I'm excited for that. One little thing that I wanted to kind of express too is that, like, with sabotage, there is this element of putting roadblocks in your own way, So that narrative that we keep talking about here, and I keep talking about, the one that is saying you can't do it, it's always going to look for confirmation of its biases. Confirmation bias. Confirmation bias can be a good thing or it can be a really bad thing. And a lot of times it's the former. Like it's not always good for you to confirm your biases and to feed into these beliefs that you hold on to way too strongly. Yeah, you're gonna find things to put in your path and you will put them there. So for example, for me with production, like I can't put this thing in the proper key, and like it's not as modular as I want it to be, blah blah blah, grass is greener on this DAW, that DAW, whatever. I could do that. I could keep on doing that, and I could keep on looking for other more optimal ways to improve my workflow. And while I'm doing that, guess what's not happening? Music is not happening. With this video, for example, like I'm recording on a phone, and of course my mind is not happy with that. Like I want a proper like boom mic setup, or like at least a lapel mic, good camera. Like I got this guy here, and when I was recording earlier and that got defunct somehow, I was talking about how this camera from the early 2000s just wasn't cutting it for me. And so I have the intention to record these videos, and I was putting this in front of me and saying this isn't good enough. And yeah, maybe my audio isn't perfect, and my setup is a little botched or whatever, but like it's something, and it gives me a jump off point. Perfectionism is a roadblock. Again, that's a thing. Oh, that's not right. This setup is wrong, so I might as well just not do it. Yeah. I'm not gonna continue to always let myself have those thoughts, but like at the same time, I don't get a choice, because evolutionarily we are geared towards finding the least resistance and normality, things like that. Those are things that serve us well in a lot of regards. So yeah, I'm gonna keep on grappling with this like innate self sabotage. But you know, as long as I can look it in the eyes and reckon with it honestly, then I can keep on going and I can forge forward. So can you? Yeah. I'm not gonna preach too much. This is more so supposed to be vulnerable. So yeah, hope you found that interesting.